between two set of people, one with a high IQ but intermittent spurts of achievement versus another set of a person who has an average IQ but extremely consistent in life, whom do you think will be successful in long run? Namaste. I would like to introduce myself as a nobody doing nothing, but I know that won't fly. My name is Bidhan. I'm a homemaker, a career banker, an entrepreneur, and doing multiple roles like any one of you. 2012 is when I chanced upon Upanishads, and it had a profound impact on my life. Since then, I have dreamt to bring the key aspects of Upanishads in a manner which is simple, relatable, and implementable in our daily lives. So here we are with a set of videos to make spirituality simple. Welcome, Preeti.
Hi, Bidhan.
Welcome to the episodes of Spirituality Made Simple.
Thank you so much.
So please go ahead.
Before I start bombarding you with no new questions,
Right.
I think what I'd like to do is sort of see if I've got the essence of what we've spoken about so far, right? So you spoke about how we are all spiritual to our core. Spirituality is our inherent nature. We've forgotten this inherent nature. And if we do claim this true nature of ours, then we become independent of any kind of external situations, people, right? That was one thing that I remember. And then you said that the first step towards this path of spirituality is to distance yourself. Basically, your thoughts and your beliefs and your emotions is something that you experience. So it is separate from you and it is not you, which is why you said that the first step is to always maintain that distance and kind of witness the feelings and thoughts that we may be having, right? I got that much. But what I've been mulling over is, okay, I understand this, okay, like logically I understand it, but so what? Like, how does it help me in my day-to-day life?
So what you're asking is, by creating the pause and knowing that you are the spiritual being and you're able to watch your emotions, your thoughts, your beliefs separately from yourself, how does it really help? How does it really help to create that pause and seeing yourself as separate from everything else? There are two kinds of benefits. One is immediate, another is long term.
Okay.
Which one would you like to know first?
I mean, immediate, of course. In the long term, I'm sure we'll all be dead and gone, right?
That's another misconception that we are all dead in the long run, but that's for another day. But yes, let's go for instant stuff. Just like instant coffee, let's have instant spirituality.
Instant spirituality, I like that. Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about through the help of an analogy again, because it helps everybody to understand. Talk to me about a place that you like visiting very often.
Probably visiting my family in Madurai.
Madurai.
Yeah.
Yeah, Madurai is a nice place. So imagine you are going on a car trip to Madurai and the road has a lot of potholes. How would your experience be?
Unpleasant, uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable?
Yeah.
But what if you are traveling in a car which has a very good shock absorber?
Then it would make the journey better.
It will make the journey better, right? So your journey is dependent on two factors. One is the condition of the pothole, and two, the shock absorber of the car,
Right.
isn't it?
Right.
Now, do you have any control on the potholes?
No, I suppose the government has control, but we don't.
You don't have any control. Yeah, of course you would like to take a good road, but honestly you don't have any control on the potholes. Do you have any control or say on the shock absorber of your car?
Yes, I mean, depends on the car.
Yeah.
Depends on if I've looked after it, serviced it properly, and also I'm sure that is in my control. Yeah.
So shock absorber is a little bit in your control, right? Because you are having your car serviced more often, the condition of shock absorber is good. So please understand, there are a lot of potholes in our life. There are potholes of people, situations, circumstances which are external to us, where we have absolutely no control, isn't it? And the shock absorber is my ability to create that pause. to create a distance between who I am, the spiritual being, and the emotions and the feelings and the thoughts that I'm experiencing in this moment. The ability to create a distance between your essential self and all these things creates a tremendous amount of shock absorber capability. So the point here is, the first benefit, and to make it very simple, to make spirituality very simple, the first benefit is that all the normal daily irritants of your life, which are like potholes, will come down significantly if you start practicing the pause and start watching your thoughts and emotions from a distance. That's the first benefit that you will experience. Now let's come to the second benefit. So, would you know of people who are highly intelligent? I'm not talking about you, but would you know of people who are highly intelligent?
Yeah, I don't know if I come under that category, but yes, I do know some people who are highly intelligent.
Right.
High IQ.
High IQ, right?
Yes.
Within those people who have high IQ, under stress, do everybody perform similarly?
No, I don't think so. Everyone has their own way of performing under stress. Not necessarily because you have a high IQ, you perform well during stress, I suppose.
Right. So, a lot also depends upon your emotional maturity. Right. So, if you're emotionally mature, your ability to use your IQ becomes much better.
Okay.
So, think about it. Let me ask you this question. Between two set of people, one with a high IQ but intermittent spurts of achievement, versus another set of a person who has an average IQ but extremely consistent in life, whom do you think will be successful in long run?
Wow. But in the long run, I don't know if I'm right, but I feel like the people who are more consistent, they are more successful in the long run. Is that right?
Yeah. They're more consistent. How do you bring that consistency? How do you bring that consistency?
Taking small steps, not giant leaps, at least like small steps, but consistently on a daily basis, or consistently.
So to take those small steps, what is it required for you to take that small steps on a consistent basis?
Something within you, like something within the person, is what drives them to take those small steps, I think.
To put it very simply, if you're emotionally stable, it's much easier for you to take small steps on a very consistent basis.
Right.
Because what disturbs the entire path is our emotions, isn't it?
This is what you're talking about, emotional maturity.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
So if you try and understand emotional maturity, what is emotional maturity? My ability to watch my emotions, my feelings, my ideas or my thoughts which creates those emotions, my belief systems from a distance, and then choosing which one I want to engage with is all emotional maturity.
Okay.
Right? But how do you create a distance? How do you see your emotions, your ideas, your thoughts separately from yourself? How do you watch them? By that ability to pause. Right. And how do you pause? You pause by knowing that you are essentially a spiritual being who is able to watch your mind, your feelings, your thoughts from a distance. The more you do this, the more you feel settled.
Right. So far the two benefits that you've spoken about, you have said that one of it is like you use the analogy of the potholes and the shock absorber, and saying that I will have better shock absorbers. Potholes are inevitable. I'm going to have certain things in life that are unpleasant, certain things that are going to irritate, right? But the shock absorber is going to help me to manage and handle it better.
Right.
Right? And now you have spoken about saying that yes, you can have an high IQ, but only if you're emotionally mature, which means you're able to see the distance between what you're feeling and who your true being is. That is when, under stress, you'll be able to use that intelligence. There's no point in having the IQ unless you're able to use it even in times of stress.
Yeah.
Is that right?
You're right.
Okay.
And the third is, if you want to be consistent, and even if you seem to have an average IQ, that is good enough. And what is required for consistency is emotional maturity.
Wow. So does that mean if I'm going to tread this path towards spirituality, that I will have no more problems in life and all these small things are not going to affect me and my life is going to be very peaceful? Is that what it means?
How I wish that happens. Unfortunately, no. So again, let's look at through another analogy. And I will talk to you about an incident. I know a friend of mine who's a biker, a very fit person, and he's always taking care of his health. Unfortunately, one day he met with an accident. And then doctors clearly mentioned to him that state he is in, he will easily take around 6 to 12 months to recover. But interestingly, he recovered in just 3 months. And he was back to normal. Why do you think that he recovered so quickly?
Probably because he was already taking care of his health and his body was already physically fit. Is that why?
You're right. Because he was physically fit, he's always been taking care of his health. But does it mean by taking care of your health, you don't meet with an accident?
No.
You do. But your ability to recover from an accident becomes much quicker. To answer your question, if you are treading on a spiritual path, does it mean that you will not have problems in life or you will not have significant problems in life? You will have, but the ability to bounce back to normalcy becomes much, much, much quicker. There can be multiple accidents in our life. It could be a loss of a loved one. It could be a significant loss in your business. It could even be untimely death of someone who is very close. It could be a very traumatic separation from someone whom you have liked at some point of time. These are things which can happen, and we have absolutely no control on that. And when these things do happen, we really cannot make sense of why this is happening. But how do we react at those point of time? In most of the times, we tend to blame others. We kind of say that he or she is responsible. Or we kind of start feeling self-pity for ourselves, that all wrong things in the universe happens with only with me. The universe is against me. Or somewhere we kind of start taking too much of blame and saying there's something wrong with me. So we get into this negative loops of either blaming others, self-pity, or blaming yourself. If we basically tread on the path of spirituality, your ability to come out of these loops becomes much more quicker.
Right.
You will stop focusing on things which is beyond your control towards the things which is in your control.
Right.
So that's how it works. So that's what I was trying to say, that someone who has a higher spiritual quotient or someone who is spiritually more inclined, the ability of that individual to come out of this trauma becomes much more faster, quicker, and their outlook towards life is far more positive.
Okay. So essentially you're saying that we will all experience some form of pain or the other, right? If we tread on this path, the spiritual path, we learn to take responsibility instead of going into that loop of self-pity or doubt.
Exactly.
And you can tend to bounce back faster. Is that also there?
Very interestingly, you said that we end up taking responsibility, then holding people responsible, holding universe responsible, or holding yourself responsible. And that's a very powerful word that you said, that we take responsibility.
Yeah.
And therefore, if you take responsibility, your ability to bounce back is much faster.
Yeah, okay. So that was the third benefit.
That was the third benefit. And very interestingly, Buddha has summed up in a very beautiful story. He talks about two arrows. He says, imagine a person is going in a jungle and suddenly a sharp arrow comes and shoots right on his legs. A sharp arrow. Imagine what sort of a pain that person will feel. By the time he takes that arrow out, there is another arrow equally sharp that comes and hits on the same point. Imagine how excruciating that pain is going to be. And it will be so much that the person may not be able to get up. What he was trying to say is that on the first arrow, we have no control. Because there will be too many arrows which will be shot at us at multiple given points of time without even knowing what's happening to me. But the second arrow is a self-inflicted pain. Because in the manner we are basically reacting to the first pain. And that is what he calls suffering. So he clearly says that pain is inevitable. You will go through pain. But how long do you suffer? That's something one can always work upon.
So the first arrow is not in my control.
No.
But the second one is. It's optional.
It's optional.
Wow.
It's optional. And that is what spirituality does. Your ability to bounce back, your ability to take responsibility, your ability to remove your potholes, your ability to use your intellect. Spirituality allows you to do all of it.
Wow. Okay. But I know some people, they are resilient. Like you said, they can bounce back. They are resilient when something happens and they're able to bounce back from it very fast. But as far as I know, they have not gone on this journey of self-discovery.
True. There are a lot of them.
Yeah.
Let's discuss about it in our next session. Why there are some of them who are genuinely or generally happy and a lot of things do not impact them. And it's an interesting question that you asked.
Yeah.
We will certainly talk about it in our next session.
Okay. So that's my cue to say, okay, we're done for this session.
Right.
So let me just see if I can get the benefits that we've spoken about, right? First, of course, that pothole analogy is really stuck in my head. So the first one is that it equips us with better shock absorbers to deal with any of our daily events that we have to go through.
Right.
Right? Then it also speaks about intelligence and the ability to use our intelligence in times of stress or anxiety, right? And gives us that sense of consistency where we can use that intelligence in times of stress.
Right.
And of course, you said that it also helps us to take responsibility rather than going in that loop of blaming others or blaming yourself or going into that self-pity mode.
Correct.
When we have any accidents in life.
Exactly.
Okay, immediate. I've understood what you meant by instant spirituality.
Yeah, I mean, instant and immediate is also relative.
Yeah.
But if I were to make spirituality simple for you, are these benefits simple enough to understand?
Yes. And I think you've made it quite simple. Just by giving these analogies, it's something that I relate to. Personally, right. I relate to, and I do hope that the audience does as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vedant.
If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share for all those who can benefit from it.
And of course, leave your valuable comments below so that we can bring you more relevant and good content. Thank you so much.